The Reagan administration had turned the tide on this issue by '86, but then this blew open, and the equation changed. Well, you know, it's interesting. In October of '86, there was the shoot-down over Nicaragua. In November, the al-Shara story about the Iranian trip was published. Which of these two things was really alarming to the White House? It was the Iran story. Okay, the Contra story was bad, no question, and it endangered what had been a new victory for the Reagan administration regarding Central America policy. But they weren't as concerned about the domestic political danger to the president over that controversy as they were over the revelation of this trip to Iran by McFarlane and North to deliver weapons to a country that was supposedly a blood enemy of the United States, the great sponsor of terrorism in the Middle East, according to the U.S. government, Iran. How could this be? How could this be that the Reagan administration, the U.S. government, would be selling arms to this country that's been saying is maybe the worst country in the world from the United States' point of view in 1985, 1986? This is what's considered terribly dangerous politically to the president, to President Reagan. And it's this that causes the National Security Planning Group, which is the high-level group within the NSC, to meet in November to talk about what are we going to do, what are we going to say. What are we going to say about the Iran thing specifically? And there are two essential elements to the line that the White House decides upon in the NSC meeting in November of 1986. The first essential point is that these arms sales to Iran were not in exchange for the release of hostages. We did not trade arms for hostages. And as I've told you, both the presidential findings in 1985 and 1986 authorizing the arms sales say explicitly the purpose is to get hostages released. But the line publicly is going to be no arms for hostages. They have to come up with some other explanation. The other explanation is that we thought there were moderate elements in the Iranian government, and we thought that maybe we could reach out to them and develop a better relationship with them. It's a strategically important country. Not trading arms for hostages, because people understood right away that politically that would be bad. That would sound bad. Giving advanced weaponry to people who'd taken Westerners and Americans hostage, rewarding people who'd taken hostages, not with money, but with advanced weaponry, bad. No arms for hostages is point one. Point two, President Reagan did not authorize this beforehand, the shipment of arms to Iran. He did not. He did not. These are the key points. This is where the firewall starts to be constructed around the president. Protect the president. Nobody needs to say at the NSC meeting, we're here to figure out how to protect the president. They all work for him, and they understand he's their boss.